Hey everyone, today we're going to be looking at a 17 seat that I had timed a week or two ago. I haven't done a VOD review for a while. I think the last time that I did this one was on a plus 11, so I'm going to go through this and see if I can learn a thing or two to help myself as I, go into 18s and 19s, and if you guys are able to get anything out of this, that's awesome too. One of the things I want to focus on is when I'm using my bark skin. I know for a fact that I did not use it well in this run at all, so that's something I want to sort of get better at. Thinking about when to send Iron Bark on DPS versus the tank. I know that's going to be really group dependent, but something I want to try and take a look at if I can. As always, my damage is a lot lower than I want it to be, so places where I can squeeze out some more DPS, making sure that I'm pushing my Heart of the Wild button, those type of things. And any other sort of insights I pick out on the way. I know that I don't know the damage patterns for the room in the Viceroy before that boss, so that's something I'm just going to kind of look at, and I'm just going to make sure that the quality is good. Cool. Alright, so let's see. Alright, so we've got a Og, a Devourer, some kind of Warlock, and a Blood Death Knight. Starting into the first pull, I pre-hot. I'm not running Nurturing Dormancy in this, so I can't really pre-hot too early. Okay, I want to pre-shift the chains, so when I see that, alright, so I should go Bear Form. Yeah, it's a little bit late, that's good. Oh, the Og rescued me, I did not need that. I should shift again, cool, Soul of the Forest. One of the big things about dealing with the chains of subjugation is preparing beforehand by shifting into bear form or cat form or whatever, and healing out of it immediately is a great way to drop it. Also, going from making sure you have your life bloom up 100% of the time, because you can use your Apex talent to really help carry the HPS that you need. Yep, you can see here I'm telling the Og to not rescue me. When the Og uses rescue, it'll break himself and whoever he rescues out of the chains. It's wasted on me since I can just remove it myself. So next pull, it's like there's some bolts going off. I incap it. Chains, I need to shift that. Oh, is he gonna die now? Good health pot. The Warlock was looking a little worse for wear, but he took care of himself, so I appreciate that. Okay, I could have been a little bit more on top of pre-hotting the team, and I have my Convoke, so I should have sent it here, so that's fine. If you look down at my bars, I've got two different types of combat pots. I've got the Light's Potential and the Potion of Recklessness. I've been using Recklessness a lot more lately as kind of like a mini lust, as a way to bridge the gap between when I have both Convoke and Trank down. Using quite a bit of mana here, but I'll probably have a little bit of time to drink, yeah. Okay, I need to get in and get some hots out. I should be keeping my Swiftmend for right before the chains come out, so I need to shift, good. Yeah, I should try and save Swiftmend for like 2 or 3 seconds into the pull to queue up a big Apex burst before the chains come out, but otherwise we're doing okay. No damage. I haven't used my Heart of the Wild button. That being said, I've mentioned this in other videos, your Heart of the Wild, you can actually use it in bear form as a defensive. It'll give you 30% HP buff permanently, even in caster form. That's all the trash. Cool. Nothing really fancy going on there. I need to focus on my shifting timing. It was a little off. It could have been a bit better, but overall, not terrible. We had no deaths. Part of that's going to be in thanks to the Warlock. He had a big health stone or health pod that he used. On to the first boss. So we didn't talk about how we were going to do this, if I'm remembering correctly, because I think this is the first time I've been in here with a Warlock. And the ad gets banished, I think, and I didn't even know that was a thing. So let's see. Okay, I have my hots out before the Oozing Slam, makes healing it pretty easy. Yeah, this is kind of bad placement by me. I'd never seen an ad get banished like that before, so I kind of didn't know what I was going to do. But it looks like we're killing one, CCing one. I remember now that towards the end of this fight, I kind of get caught looking around and not preparing as much as I should, but I need to worry less about ad management and more about healing my team. Alright. I could have waited a split second before I used that Soul of the Forest, but that's minimal. Okay, I should be able to get in there. Preparing for the Oozing Slam. Okay, regrowth with the Soul of the Forest, big. Okay, am I gonna push it? Looks like you get stunned, they're gonna kill that one. There's one that's banished. I don't see anything behind me. Ooh, that's a dangerous decimate. Good, ice chains or whatever that's called. Alright, cool, I root that guy over there. That's pretty good. Do I push him? I don't have push. Goes off. Overall, as like a HPS check, there's really not a lot going on in this fight. The only thing you really have to do is make sure that before the Oozing Slam goes out, you have plenty of hot coverage. You want like a 5 stack of abundance, so you can just top your team off with regrowths, and everything should be fine. Oozing Slam, I've got good hot coverage. Swiftman right before it comes out, consume it, big AoE healing, and we're completely covered. Yeah, it's easy. I'm trying to figure out what's going on with the ads, yeah. So I root this guy, I wonder if they break it. Yeah, they break it immediately. In hindsight, I should have saved that push until the boss does the suck in. I've got that ad in a vortex. I don't think he ends up consuming it. Like I think it runs out before he leaves the circle, but that would have been nice. Yeah. Using Slam, I'm a little bit behind on hot coverage. Yeah, I trained here. I wasn't paying attention to the timer. I was kind of focusing on the ad control for no reason. I should have left that to other people. You know, I have roots, and that's enough. Okay, so one of the things I mentioned I want to focus on is damage patterns and defensives. I remember this run a little bit in that I remember saying that I kept barks getting way too early, so I want to check that out. Alright, got the Rift Stalkers coming in. Pulled the Warden, I'm bleeding, but I've got lots of hot, so I should be fine. Rift Essence is coming out, so I should Dispel. Yeah, see, I bark skinned already. I want to hold off on the bark skin. So, the way the damage looks, it looks like there's the Dispel, an AoE pulse, and then the big AoE pulse, like the intermittent one. I think I want to be holding my defensive until this part of the phase next time. With like the one consideration that if I get a bleed before the AoE pulse after dispels, maybe I send my bark there. Yeah, I don't run Seat that often because it's one of the harder dungeons. I should go in there more to get more practice, so I don't know all of the like trash mob abilities and patterns and stuff. So this is going to be helpful for me. I'll see if the other Rift Warden does that. I do not know where this guy's going. So he goes up top, and then we're just dragging these in. Ooh, I've got hot aggro. I need to run away. Bear form maybe? Okay, Okay, looks like the DH got one shot. I don't think that there's anything I could be done about that on my end. Still have aggro on something. Man, healing Death Knights can be a little scary sometimes. I wouldn't be surprised if I send him my Bark after his Icebound Fortitude's up. Yeah, I did. Good job. Alright, Dispel, Mini Pulse. Okay. Better, kind of better, like, timing a little bit. I think it's still a little too early. Oh man, I need something. Yeah, okay, so I just used my Potion of Recklessness. Wow. Well, he's still pulsing. Okay, it's not terrible. I used my Potion of Recklessness there, like I said, to bridge the gap between Convoke and Trank. I probably didn't need to use that and could have used the cooldown elsewhere. One thing I'm noticing too is I don't know that I've pressed my Heart of the Wild yet for DPS. Again, so that was a bad Trank. If I want to use a throughput cooldown, I should be doing it during this phase and not during the sort of mini pulse that it does after the Rift Essence. So these are good for me to know, like, have mental notes going into the next sort of phase. Or, you know, the next dungeon that I go into when I try and do it on an 18 again. One tip for, like, sort of newer players is I try to use my Swiftmend in conjunction with Wild Growth, and I like to try and get it out before the pull even starts, so that I've got a Soul of the Forest proc ready to go. Just gives you a lot of options in terms of how you want to heal the encounter. Cool. Yep. Shift, I was sitting on that Soul of the Forest proc for all of that big AoE healing. I should probably keep my Life Bloom on myself or the Og here. I do run Wildstalker, so, and I run 2 points into Forest Walk, so I have a lot of self-healing that I get. Oh boy. Definitely get smacked by the Tentacle. He's in Purgatory, so that's not good. This is going to be pretty scary healing on him for the next, like, 4 minutes. I don't think he dies, so I think we're, like, okay through it, but it's always a scary time. Okay, kicks are going out. I get bolted. Okay, this is going to be a good Convoke time, I bet. Yeah. Cool. Then Swiftmend, and then probably a Rejuve. Yep. Good job. Cool, we made it through the phase. I don't have anything for the next. I finally hit the button. Good job. It was a terrible time to do it, but at least you did it. I gotta get way better about that. Yeah, that pulse after the Dispel is not nearly as scary as I thought it was. Okay, cool. Made it past the Tentacle. DK is halfway through his purge, so that's not the worst. And what are we taking in? Yeah, be careful not to rip hot aggro. Okay, cool. We're just grabbing some guys here. I don't know when he's going to pull, but I need to spread some hots out, get ready for the AoE pulse. Okay, so I Bark Skin there. That was a really bad use of Bark Skin. I need to wait until a little bit later. That bleed doesn't hurt nearly as bad as the AoE pulsing, so I should have kept it. So we know better for next time. Okay, here comes the pulse. This Og needs to live. Convoke, yeah. I should have convoked earlier. Now that I'm watching this back, I think kind of like a pre-planned convoke at the start of that is going to be the way to most comfortably handle the big AoE burst that the Rift Warden does. But that's it, and we're going into the next boss, so pretty easy. Looks like we're taking some trash into it. I need to watch this boss. So one of the things I want to take a look at is whether or not I get really sloppy with my hots before the overload. When I have a 3-target fight like this, I try to keep bleeds up on all of the targets all the time, and I feel like I try to greed my DPS, which is like terrible, at the risk of the team. So I just want to see how I do. Okay. In terms of bark skin use, I think I want to try to use bark skin before the overload, and probably save it for if I have the bleed going into the overload. So here's the overload. Yeah, that's definitely the play. I think you're gonna see me use my bark skin before the like the bombs blow up, and I shouldn't be doing that. If I feel like I really need a defensive, I play with Ursine Vigor, and do I send my Iron Bark? I don't have it. Nature Swiftness? That's good. I play with Ursine Vigor, so if I really need a defensive right there, I can just shift it right before they blow up. So this would be a good bark skin, and yikes. Alright, I don't have Iron Bark yet. Yep, pinging for the one that got missed. I'm noticing that I'm only sitting at like 2 to 4 stacks of abundance a lot of times, so I'm not doing a great job of keeping my rejuvenations out. Alright, well, good sending Iron Bark on myself there, I guess. I think I mentioned at the start, but Seat is one of the dungeons where I swap out Nurturing Dormancy for Harmonious Blooming to try and get those extra mastery stacks with Life Bloom. So my ramps are a little bit not long. They're not as long lasting as in other dungeons. We got the bleed. I don't have a defensive. Boss is dying soon. And I'm gonna need to get some more hots out. Cool. Show wild growth. Looks like we're gonna miss one. Oh, boss is dead. That's fine. Okay. That bleed does keep going for a little bit, so make sure you heal. This trash is the absolute worst, I think, in the entire season. It's also part of the reason why I take Harmonious Blooming. But that being said, I think I need to work on how I like combo my spells. I was kind of behind there, so let's see. Okay, we're healing people up. We got a defensive use. I wish I had Omni CD, man. Tell how many charges the Og had. Okay, we got bleed, so do I Iron Bark it? I don't really think I need to Iron Bark a solo one. I can use, yeah, okay. So I Bear Form and Frenzy Regen, and that helps take care of myself right there, and it carries me through the debuff. Between that and all of the passive healing from my Apex talent, and I can focus on whoever else got it, so that was good. Alright, let's see if the Og gets it. Yeah, Iron Barked on the Og. So that was good. Iron Barked the Og, because I knew he was kind of in trouble. Bear Form. No Bear Form. Convoke, maybe? No, we're safe. Oh, I'm hurting. That's good. I guess I'm more scared watching this than I was when I was playing. So yeah, with this trash, I try to rotate my Life Bloom to one of the targets that's picking up the debuff, and then I try to save my Iron Bark for a DPS. I gotta move here, heal the Og, Nature Swiftness, Convoke. Looks like the Demon Hunter just murdered the Warlock, so that was not a me thing. It's always kind of weird when they like pull down to the lower level and add a line of sight and everything. Bear form, frenzied regen. Yeah, that's pretty good. I need a bark skin. Good. Yeah, having 2 stacks of that's kind of deadly. Healthstone, yeah. Happy I didn't have to send my... Alright, so the Og just used his obsidian scale, so I need to give him an external next time if he gets it. It's on me and the Og. Okay, cool. Good job. Ironbark rotating to the Warlock. This is a pretty fast-paced pull in terms of all the rotating that you have to do. Putting out some dots. Switching to the Og. Okay. Ooh, Og's gonna get another one. He's in trouble. I should be spamming him. Yeah. I probably could have helped with that. I don't know if he had another charge of obsidian scales or not, but that's kind of tough when people get 2 of those and you don't have an extra external to give. Okay, so I've kind of taken a look at this pack again, and it seems like between the 3 packs in this room, this is the most dangerous pack, and I should be more willing to just send everything when the team's in danger. So the Void Infusion's going out. Alright, so big single target damage coming out with the Void Infusion. I need to be more on top of that, I think. Sending the Convoke. Yeah, I didn't see if that person hit. Let's see if I can go back a second or 2. So Void Infusion and... okay. So Void Infusion and then the DH got hit by a ball, so that's not 100% my fault. I could have been more on top of healing them. I need to be more regrowth spammy here, so that's something I can kind of keep in mind. It's a little hard with like positioning and all of that, but probably use my Soul of the Forest to maintain my rejuves, and also Convoke is pretty good for that. So probably Convoke first, Trank second. I believe the Void Infusion is a Shadow Meldable mechanic. Oh, is this all gonna die? DH hit another orb. That wasn't a Void Infusion, that was just eating an orb, so I don't feel too bad about that. Again, I'm sitting on my Heart of the Wild for forever. You know, we're going into a boss. I can send it on the boss and that'll help. And that's kind of a healing intensive pack, so it's not the worst thing in the world that I have it up. And again, like I said, it's also, you can use it as a defensive, so I'm not going to be too mad about it. Yeah, there we go. Hit the button. Good job. Okay, so this boss, I believe the pattern is going to be spawn the orbs, mass infusion, and then spawn the tentacles. The mass infusion hurts a lot more than the tentacles do, I think. I'm kind of reasoning out how I want to play this boss as I'm watching this. Yeah, okay, so the tentacles don't hurt that bad, so it's going to be the intermission that hurts, and the intermission and the mass infusion. So here comes the intermission. I should wild charge as travel form, so that's kind of bad. I need to get hots out. Okay, I bark stim here. Oh, wow, the group's looking real healthy right here. We must have, yeah, we got darkness, that's why. I would love to run in a pre-made group so that I knew darkness was coming. Okay, here comes the Void Infusion. So coming out of the intermission, I need to prep my team's hots way faster. Don't worry about going into cat form or anything like that. Prep the hots for the mass infusion. Okay, tentacles are coming out. Oh, I take 2 of the balls right there. I should be dead. Yeah, I should be dead. But health stone, health pod, so that's pretty good. You can meld the Void Tentacle if you need to. Only do that if you're about to die, though, because it will recast on someone else on your team. Do I trank here? No, I don't. I'm gonna have to watch this back again to figure out whether or not I think sending my CDs is better on the infusion or on the tentacle. Or sorry, on the infusion or the intermission. Again, I didn't trank at all. I'm hearing myself talking. Oh, I eat another ball. Yeah, that's a GG. Hopefully we don't. I don't think we wipe, right? DH is down. Coming into the intermission. We need to kill those tentacles. I need to get some hots on the AUG. Good obsidian scale. I really dislike when people res when I have the battle res available, just because my res will give them full health, but okay, so the orbs are out. I need to get hots out because the mass infusion is coming. Yeah. Okay. So I think the biggest, if I adequately prepped there, I would have been able to save the warlock, I think. So I think the biggest takeaway here is going to be defensive the mass infusion if you get it. I wonder if that's meldable. That's something I'm going to have to look up. I can put it in the comments as to what I find out. But coming out in intermission, maintain a lot better hot coverage. So that was a little rough. There was 3 deaths on that. 3 deaths on that, but we're still looking good on the timer. We're going to have, what, 5 minutes? 5 minutes going into the boss. And Lust. So, cool. Going into this last boss, it's really not too bad. I think it feels more stressful when I'm in the moment, but like when I think about it, it's not too bad. Just make sure you pre-hot. I'm putting, yeah, even without nurturing dormancy, I'm just rejuving everybody before the boss comes out and then sneaking a drink. Kind of going again. I've got my Soul of the Forest. I should have waited to use that until the burst came out. On this fight, I think I normally convoke early. Yep. A couple seconds into the fight, sending the convoke. Make sure you keep your Swiftmend on cooldown. With the constant sort of pulse damage and rotting that your team is doing, you're going to get so much value out of your Apex talents. So keeping up 100% Life Bloom and keeping your Swiftmend down almost on cooldown is going to be huge for your overall HPS. Cool running. No, they got that. That could have been bad. So the part of this fight where you're most in danger is going to be when the beam kind of hits the targets. That's a good spot to consider tranking if people don't have defenses available. Good, hit Heart of the Wild and the damage amp, so that's good. Get my dots out. At about 8 seconds, I normally start to re-hot everybody because there's going to be another big group-wide thing. Hopefully I don't send the Swift Mend too early. Yeah, there we go. Good job. You can Swift Mend as the burst comes and get out another round of rejuves, and it's gonna put you in a great spot. I've got Convoke up for the next beam if I want it, but I don't think so. We're feeling pretty good. I can probably save my Convoke and use it when the beams have to pop the orbs, just to make sure everyone's nice and healthy. Whoa. Okay. Yeah. Do I Convoke? Yeah, I Convoked. Good job. One combo that's worth mentioning is Swift Mend, Nature Swiftness, Regrowth, just because the Soul of the Forest will pump out 3 regrowths onto the whole team, and those regrowths are going to be juiced up by the Nature Swiftness cast, so it's a good way to use it as kind of like a mini cooldown. Yep, Trank right before the beams, good. Keep the team healthy. I had time to Wild Growth there before I did that, but it would have helped out with getting an extra mastery stack on everybody. Cool. Going into the next phase, get the dots out. I don't know if I'm going to have time to send another Heart of the Wild. Let's see if I do. Definitely not. Cool. 8 seconds, start prepping for the next burst of damage, but the boss is probably dead. If I wanted to push DPS, I could have sent the Cat Convoke, but it's not worth it. But that's the key. I'm probably gonna watch this back specifically for the the second to last boss, just because seeing the damage patterns and figuring out how I want to plan everything is gonna be big. I think one of the things that I may try to do is hold on to my Swift Mend prior to the Mass Void Infusion. It targets 3 people, so if I can have the infusion come out, Swift Mend and Regrowth, that should really help triage all 3 people at the same time. But I think we had good pattern recognition on the Voidwalker guys, like the Rift Guardians or whatever they're called. Checking out the second to last boss was really helpful. Not too much to learn here on the first boss and the last boss, and proper defensive timing for the council type boss, the bomb guy. So overall, I think it was good. Hopefully this was useful for you guys. I think I got a lot out of it, and hopefully it's gonna help me out in my 18s. But thanks for stopping by. Consider leaving a like and subscribe, and we'll catch you guys on the next one. All right, thanks.